Hey guys, what's up? It's Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews, and I'm here with my update for my favorite first-time watches for the month of May. Um, that's about it for this intro. If you've seen the other videos, you know what this is. I'm just going to talk about some movies that I watched in the month of May that I enjoyed. I don't have too many for this month. It's only like 4 movies, or I think it might be 5. But yeah, let's just dive right into it. So starting off, we have Kingdom of the Spiders from 1977. This is a science fiction horror film starring William Shatner of Star Trek and The Devil's Reign fame. Um, this is basically about a small town that is overrun by killer tarantulas. This movie's pretty infamous because like they used about 5,000 spiders supposedly in the production of the film, and they killed a lot of them. A lot of them were killed on camera. So if you know if dead tarantulas ain't your thing, then this might not be the movie for you. But it's just essentially about William Shatner as the I think he's the sheriff, I think, of this small town, and he is dealing with like the death of his wife, and then this woman comes into town who's studying the local wildlife, and bing bang boom, you got a killer spider movie. The tarantula genocide aside, I actually really enjoyed this movie as a sort of morbid or gross or whatever B movie sort of knickknack. I was genuinely engrossed in the drama and the horror of what was going on, and maybe I'm just a spider hating bastard. I can't really say. Who knows? But as far as shitty William Shatner starring horror films go, this definitely isn't as good as The Devil's Reign, nor is it as mysterious and otherworldly as Incubus, but it definitely sits in the middle. Um, but the ending is really great. I really love the ending, which made me like definitely appreciate this movie a lot more. While not like the greatest movie ever, I still found this to be a really enjoyable B film, and as even though it's something I wouldn't show to my entomologist friends, it's kind of fun, albeit sort of cruel towards our eight-legged brethren. Up next is the 1989 uh, horror comedy fantasy film, Dr. Caligari. This is one of those like holy grails of forgotten B movies because it's never really gotten like a Blu-ray release or anything. I don't even know if it has and I don't even know if it ever got an official DVD release. But you can find this one on YouTube fairly easily. It's not a hard movie to track down. Essentially, this is a movie about a woman who is like losing touch with reality. So her husband sets her up with treatment with this doctor, Dr. Caligari. And this doctor performs weird sexual experiments on people in this mental hospital that she runs. And she's also like the great granddaughter of Dr. Caligari from the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, I guess. So this is kind of a sequel to the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is one of my favorite movies. Um, I couldn't tell you what actually happens in this movie because it's just such a visually enthralling movie, taking inspiration from so many different places. I see a lot of German expressionism in the film, but there's also a lot of color and a lot of like um, a lot of style in it that reminds one of like an Oingo Boingo music video, for prime example, which funny enough their music videos sometimes lifted elements of German expressionism for the sake of the surreal factor. Um, yeah, this is like it's like the Forbidden Zone cross with like the original Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, I guess. I guess that's the best way I can put it. It's a weird little film, but at a slim 80-minute runtime, it's not a bad time killer, especially if you love some psychedelic, weird visuals and sets and colorful lighting, because this definitely has all of that and more to offer. I remember it being pretty funny, but I could not tell you a single joke in this movie. Yeah, Dr. Caligari from 1989. Why the fuck not? Up next is the 1966 psychological horror science fiction drama thriller Seconds. Seconds is a movie that I've always been kind of interested in because the Criterion cover art for it is a fucking banger. I love the Criterion cover art for Seconds. So I've always been kind of interested in it. And it's also directed by John Frankenheimer, who gave us, I think it was was it The Prophecy? It was a 70s movie about a mutant killer bear, basically. This movie is about a middle-aged banker who is kind of sick of his life and sick of being old. So he is contacted by this company who is willing to fake his death and give him a completely new body, but it comes with a unimaginable price. This is a really existentially horrifying little film. I don't really want to say too much about this one because I was just genuinely enthralled by it, and I thought it was really, really great. It's very well acted. Rock Hudson stars, and the one thing I do want to mention about this movie is that Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys went to see this film when it came out, and it frightened him so much, and he felt like kind of personally attacked because when this main character goes through this transformation, they gave him the last name Wilson, that he canceled the forthcoming Beach Boys album, which was Smile, which was never finished, and never went into a theater again until E.T. the Extraterrestrial came out in 1982, which was about like almost 20 years later, which is really, really interesting. All the movie facts about Brian Wilson are very interesting. For instance, Brian Wilson's favorite movie is the Eddie Murphy film Norbit. You can't make this shit up, and you can't make up the genuine quality of a film like Seconds. It's great. Go see it. It's on the Criterion channel, I'm more than certain. I rented it from Netflix because I'm trying to, get what I can out of Netflix's DVD by mail service and before it, fucking collapses on itself in a couple of months. But yeah, Seconds. It's a good one. Check it out. Finally, we have Help Me, I'm Possessed from 1974. I forgot when it was from. This is a hazy and dreamlike mid-70s regional mad scientist sort of slasher joint that is about a doctor who runs an insane asylum who believes that, like, the evil that causes mental illness can be exorcised out of people through torture, essentially. And he just tortures his patients. It plays like a classic Inquisition-a-thon sort of film, like Bloody Pit of Horror, for example. And it comes complete with a castle, a guillotine, various torture methods, but it's set in a desert in America and instead of Europe, and also it's rated fucking PG. I don't know how it got that rating because it's don't get me wrong, it's not a gore fest, but it's bloodier than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was, and that movie got a R like it was nothing. But still, This film is a really great time. It's got some bad acting. It's got a weird, wonky, surreal kind of atmosphere going on. If you love mid-70s regional films, this is definitely one to check out, especially if you enjoy stuff like Malatesta's Carnival of Blood, or I'm blanking on these other movies that I was going to say. Carnival of Blood, Night of the Strangler. I don't know, The Witch That Came from the Sea. I'm losing it. It's 7 in the morning and I'm recording this fucking video on a Saturday. I'm a little tired. And just like that, we are on to the final movie, and I realize I have not been doing the star ratings like I usually do for these, but I'm not re-recording any of this shit. I'm too tired for that. So, finally, the last movie is Michael J. Murphy's Death Run from 1987. This is a film from legendary British cult low-budget director Michael J. Murphy. And this is a movie about a guy and his girlfriend who are cryogenically frozen by his scientist mother. And they survive the coming apocalypse. They wake up 25 years later in a dystopian, disturbing world full of mutants, cannibals, and a insane dictator known as the Messiah, who captures them and forces the main character to participate in a death game called the Death Run. On top of being just a really fun kind of Mad Max riff with gore and cool mutant monster effects, there's definitely some fun to be had with this one. I personally had a really great time with it. There's a really awesome training montage in it that puts anything that's in the Rocky movies to shame. This movie was shot on, I think it was shot on 16 millimeter. It's preserved on VHS, so it looks like shit. So a lot of people assume it's shot on video, but it's actually not. It's actually not. That being said, though, this does have the vibe of a shot-on-video film. Sort of like a British Polonia Brothers movie, almost. Maybe with a little bit of a bigger budget. It's definitely the kind of thing that the Polonia Brothers would aspire to have made at some point. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Death Run. It's really enjoyable. It's got some gore to it. The acting isn't great. But, you know, that's to be expected when you're coming to this channel for movie advice. But, yeah, I think that's all I really want to say about this one. And that's all I have to say in this video. It's just a short, sweet one for you guys. Anyway, that's it for now. This is Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews, signing off. Peace.